cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. Now, as you're obviously seeing, if you're on our YouTube page, where you can subscribe at youtube.com/ Is it youtube.com/Top Cut Podcast, or is it a bunch of letters and numbers?
I think there's a bunch of letters and numbers.
All right, well, the point is, you can go find us on YouTube by simply searching Top Cut Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Description.
And
it'll be in our description down below.
What he said. And, of course, I am your host. This is my co-host, Caleb.
Yo.
Which you should definitely know us by now. But if you're new here, though, welcome. I promise you, the recording live, like with video, very new thing.
This is like our third episode. I think we've done it.
Yeah, it is. And it's definitely a welcome addition, but it has caused some stress. And if you've seen the last couple of videos versus this one, you'll notice this is a very, very, very different recording setup and a different studio setup. And a lot of that is because I'm really self-conscious. So we wanted to give it a little bit of a different look, a different feel.
Yeah. We're still kind of feeling around, trying to find our niche.
Yeah, and a lot of it is that we want to give our unique setup. We want to give our own unique spin on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Content creation sphere, because currently everybody right now is like a spinny chair. You know, everybody's like got their like gaming chair and they're sitting.
For now, we got a nice, comfy couch.
Right, exactly. So this will bring it more of like a casual atmosphere.
Hopefully,
the goal is that, you know, we're all sitting in a room together, casually enjoying our time together, chatting, and you're just like chilling in the chair across the room from us while we all talk and have a nice conversation together. So, of course, with that said, let's go ahead and start by thanking the patrons. So, a huge thank you to Cam Yang, Top Cuts, Trouble Sunny, and Caleb, Austin Johnson, Kane Martin, Marshawn Jones, Zyphorus, Yeet Defeat, AD, Anthony Leela, Dank Nugs, Earth Machine, Best Deck, Epi. Has anyone actually read Toy Vendor, HGH Cyber, I Am McLincoln? Imagine playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2022 on Earth, in the Milky Way galaxy, in the universe, on Earth in 2022, playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay.
Can you imagine? Just imagine
Yes.
playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
I can imagine.
All right, Jarrett, Helton, Mountain Man, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado, Pig, Rudolph, Sprite, Farter, Super Ancient, Deep CDs, Nutsing, King, Coelacanth. I'm trying to go too fast. Tier Limit's having this floodgate in your mouth. It's actually mouth, but I feel like it's funnier to say mouth with an F.
Sure.
Tin Dangle Doles, more like Tin Dangle D's Nuts. Unbanned number 95, Konami. Understanding and reading are two different things. Virtually Savior's World. You still play Dragon Link? Well, cry Mirror River while I'm dragging these nuts across your face. Zingis Khan. Aaron Gardner, Asami, Ashless Chaps, Brandon Potter, Duty Booty, Dragon, Maidenless Behavior, Jerry Beans Man, King Henry, Old Man Red, Pin Code 143, Ray Powell, Shockmaster Did Nothing Wrong, Slaking It Up, Stop Crying About Call by Its Balance, and Where Appaloosa Dating Sim, Konami. Thank you all so much for your continued hilarious support of the podcast.
Listen. I'm not saying we need an Appaloosa dating sim. What I am saying is I would like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Dating sim.
I'm listening.
Yeah, have like, not just Appaloosa. Sure, have Appaloosa as one of the options. Have like a nice wide range of options. You know, Appaloosa, Dark Magician Girl, Chamber Dragon Maid, Jinzo. You know, the base sets. You know, just some very basic individuals. Fiend Mega Cyber.
Listen. If I can't get Flying Fortress Skyfire in that dating sim, then what are we even doing here?
Oh, it's like that one dating sim with the ship from Galaxia in it.
Listen, if there's not a Gunkin Sue ship in that dating sim, what planet are we on?
And sure, throwing it for hire, I guess.
Okay, you're opening a whole can of worms that...
It's why I said, I guess.
I don't know if I'm ready to have opened on this podcast.
Shureg. Shureg's got to be in there too. Ladies, am I wrong about Shureg?
No, you're not wrong about Shureg. I'm wondering how we got here.
He's just some dude in a mech in a bird mech suit.
I'm aware of what he is. I'm aware, very well aware. I've pictured it many times. Anyway, so also we're going to thank a couple of sponsors. So a huge thank you to Millennium Threads. So that those of you that don't know by now, somehow, Millennium Threads is the best Etsy shop for Yu-Gi-Oh! Apparel out there. You can find hats, you can find t-shirts, you can find hoodies. I saw a ton of Millennium Threads t-shirts at YCS Niagara. People were sporting them all over. It's all custom embroidered stuff. It is super cool, and it is some very unique swag that you can get. Also, be sure to check out Dragon Shield. Dragon Shield is like the #1 TCG accessory manufacturer in the world, or like top 5 or something like that. They are huge. They are awesome. And Dragon Shield, if you're listening to this, we gave away all of the sleeves that you've sent us already. We gave them all away at ICS Niagara, so I don't really have many to show off on camera here,
unfortunately.
But they're really awesome. They do some awesome work with sleeves, deck boxes, binders, etc. And you should absolutely check them out. There's an affiliate link in the description down below. If you shop using that link, it does support the podcast. There's also an affiliate link, of course, for TCG Player in that description. And if you want to, again, shop, no extra cost to you, help support the podcast. It goes a long way, and we really appreciate it. We're not on Twitch, we're not really monetized on YouTube. So the affiliate links and the patrons are the only way that we make the money to keep this podcast going. And hopefully, we're going to do things like upgrade this microphone arm, get Caleb a new microphone. These are all things at the top of our priority list.
But Sonny, what if I don't want a solid color sleeves?
Oh, Dragon Shield also has really cool art sleeves as well.
Wow, what an amazing discovery.
I promise that bit comes off way better on video. So if you are on Spotify, audio listeners, bless your hearts, you got to check out the YouTube channel.
The gestures I made with that, what that was.
Yeah, it's like the scream painting where like the hands on the cheeks and the pog face.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's
I remember. Audio listeners love you to death. They do that on the Chuckle Sandwich podcast, which is rated R, so tread carefully. They're a lot more explicit than we are. But it's a very funny podcast. You should also check it out. So
stay hydrated, my friends.
We have some new cards that we're going to cover here today. And then we're going to do a ton of mailbag questions because, one, thanks Konami. They're still on a ban list. We don't have anything to talk about. And two, we haven't done mailbag questions in like a month.
Yeah, it feels like we did a couple last episode, but
not nearly enough.
No, we did like one, maybe two. Right. So we're gonna delve deep into that mailbag.
But first, we're gonna delve very deep into the Gishki support.
Woo! You want to start? Reading this off? Or you want me to start?
I can start. That's fine.
All right, cool.
All right, first card we have Grim Gishki, and these are all going to be released in Photon Hypernova, which is not the next core set, but the one after that we're going to get. Because the next core set we're getting is Darkwing Blast.
Yep.
All right. Grim Gishki, Water Fish Effect Monster, level 2, 600 attack, 700 defense. You can only use this card's name second effect once per turn. 1. If you ritual summon exactly one ritual monster with a card effect that requires use of monsters, this card can be used as the entire requirement.
Pretty solid for a, ritual-based archetype.
Pretty much. It's basically turns every Gishki card into Metamorphosis for a ritual monster from your hand.
Now, keep in mind that they're like about half the Gishki monsters do have that effect.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one Gishki monster from your deck, except Grim Gishki. Also, you cannot declare attacks for the rest of this turn except with ritual monsters.
Doesn't matter on turn 0. So,
true.
Fun fact, normal summon this dude, activate effect to special summon Gishki Abyss.
Okay.
Which triggers Gishki Abyss's effect to search for a Gishki with 1,000 or less defense. Normal summoning this dude is a +2.
Yeah, checks out. The math checks out.
Like,
That's wild.
yeah. It's so next up we have a new ritual monster, Eva Gishki. Nerimanas. Level 10, 3000 attack, water spellcaster ritual, 1800 defense. You can ritual summon this.
I think it's Nerimanas.
It might be Nerimanas. You can ritual summon this card with any Gishki ritual spell. Pretty bog standard on Gishki ritual monsters. If this card is ritual summoned, you can target a water monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So it kind of replaces some of the materials that are used to make it.
Right.
It's not terrible. 2, cannot be destroyed by a battle with a monster special summon from the extra deck. Okay.
All right, we're here.
3, once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, return a Gishki ritual monster you control to the hand. If you do, negate, and if you do that, shuffle that card back into the deck. It's a negate.
All right, then.
It is a negate, and it's got a fairly steep cost. With it having to return a Gishki ritual monster back to your hand, considering how difficult it is to get out ritual monsters.
It's a soft once per turn.
It's a soft once per turn. Not only is it soft once per turn, it also shuffles it back into the deck instead of destroying it.
That's pretty wild, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, next we have Gishki Ice Mirror ritual spell. This card can be used to ritual summon any Gishki ritual monster. 1. Ritual summon one Gishki ritual monster from your hand by tributing either one face-up monster your opponent controls or monsters from your hand or field whose total levels exactly equal its level. And if you do, you lose life points equal to its original attack. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Gishki monster in your graveyard, place it on the top of the deck, and if you do, place this card on the bottom of the deck.
That's pretty good. Particularly I contribute your stuff too.
Yeah, I've definitely seen worse ritual spells.
Now, the way that this is worded in this isn't problem solving card text. It's just a 1-for-1 translation and localization as best as the Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization website can do.
Right.
Based on that reading, it tells me that you can either tribute one of your opponent's monsters or tribute your own monsters whose levels blah 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 blah.
Right.
So you could just tribute a Barone.
Yes.
To be fair, I think with this
you would have to have a level 9.
No, you wouldn't, because it doesn't specify that your opponent's monster. It says.
Oh.
You see, there's a separator there. You see what I'm talking about?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So you can tribute. It's like you could theoretically tribute your opponent's, I don't know, level eater and drop a level 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that is how it is actually worded.
Keep in mind, it does not tribute for cost.
Yes.
So
if they have a Barone, they can just negate
it. Right.
Or a Toad, they can just negate
Oh, man, that's the easiest negate bait I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Either I ritual summon or you negate this.
Right.
Also, because it doesn't care about levels, you can tribute your opponent's Exceeds and Link monsters, too.
Wow, I guess you're right.
Because it doesn't care about when you tribute your opponent's monsters. If that is the correct way that it's worded, I can't read Japanese, so I can't tell you.
I mean, it sure does seem to be the way it's worded.
Okay. Lastly, we have Aquamirror Focalization, normal spell. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. Add a Gishki monster from deck to hand.
Okay, it's Rhoda for the entire archetype.
That isn't once per turn.
Wow, broken.
2. During the end phase, if you control a water ritual monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, set an Aquamirror spell or trap from your deck to your graveyard, except Focalization.
Wow.
So you can banish this card if you control water ritual to set
during the end phase.
Yeah, during the end phase to set one of the ritual spells, basically.
I mean, it's really not bad.
No. To be fair, that ritual spell then has to survive a turn. Like, it has to survive your opponent's entire turn and back to you, then you can flip it and conduct a new ritual summon.
Right.
Overall, I think this is pretty solid support. To be fair, it's just gonna be Eva Gishki hand loop support.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Just so they can just Minoga sleep your hand over and over and over and just keep ripping stuff out of it.
To be fair, it's not good now, and I don't know if this is enough to put it over the edge.
No, not at all.
I think this more turns Gishki into a potential straight-up combo deck, besides, like, hand loop combo.
Which is what I think they're trying to do, is push the don't hand loop this normal combos to put up a negate.
Right.
So...
All right, so that is the ending of the Gishki cards. Let's go ahead and move on into our next topic that we're only going to spend a few minutes talking about here, which is the ban list.
There isn't one yet.
Yeah.
As of recording, there isn't one yet. I'm going to go check the website to see if it came up yet.
It hasn't come up yet.
That's okay. I assume you already have the website pulled up.
I don't. I just already know. Okay, so we're recording this on Wednesday night, like really late Wednesday night.
It is 6 minutes to Thursday.
Yeah, really late Wednesday night. And as of recording, we don't have a ban list yet.
No ban list yet.
But it's my belief
I'm sad.
that anything that I say here will still apply come Friday morning if they release a ban list on Thursday. Okay, so basically if they release a ban list between recording and the publishing of this podcast, I don't think that that changes my thoughts or opinions here and now. That said, they could make some drastic policy changes, internal company policy changes that could change my viewpoint here.
I doubt it.
But I doubt it. So let me tell you kind of where I'm coming from and where my frustration lies right now. So as of recording this, it has been, I believe, either 128 or 129 days since the last ban list.
Something like that.
So, and again, I gotta give an amazingly huge shout out to the main man Sebto here, because Sebto, for whatever reason, again, I believe it's Sebto 360 on I know it's Sebto 360 on Twitch or on Twitter. I think it's also Sebto 360 on YouTube. So, some cool ban list facts from Sebto. Firstly, since January 2018, did you know the average amount of days between a ban list reveal and the previous ban list is 85.3 days? So on average, every 85 days and 8 hours, we have a ban list. During this period of time, from January 2018 to now, the longest wait between a ban list and the next one getting revealed was 119 days. This is from October 1st of 2021, so October of last year, to January 27th of this year, 2022. The second longest wait was May 21st, 2018 to September 14th, 2018. This is 117 days. Then 2 ban lists have taken 99 days to come out. The last ban list came out May 17th of 2022 and was effective immediately, which is the second time this has happened during this period. Currently, it's the 19th of September 2022, which this was a couple of days ago, so now it's the 21st, going on the 22nd. Meaning that when the next ban list drops, it'll be the third ban list over 100 days and break the record at 126, now 8, going on 9.
130 on Friday.
130 on Friday. Days between ban lists, and that is just insane.
Oh, and very fascinating, like little factoids there as well. On top of that, with the average of 90-ish days, so about every 3 months.
Almost exactly, yeah.
Now, keep in mind, it's from the previous ban list being,
85.
the previous ban list going into effect, and the next ban list to reveal, not it going into effect.
Yeah. So, the days from no sooner than. So, this is the statistic that we use to kind of identify when this ban list was revealed versus the no sooner than date. So, as an example, that January 2018 list, it was 32 days before a no sooner than date. The next one was 43 days before the no sooner than date. The next one's 44 days before a no sooner than date. And then we see a change. 10 days. 4 days before the no sooner than date. 21. 14. 5 days after the no sooner than date. Which, I mean, like, is theoretically the idea, but it's rare.
With the no sooner than.
Right. 4 days before the no sooner than date. So it's kind of crazy that they say it's no sooner than this date.
And then almost all these lists so far have been
Released before that date.
Yeah.
Weird. 6 days after, 8 days before, 11 days before, 5 days after, 11 days before, 9 days after, 10 days after, 10 days before, and then no more no sooner than date. It's gone. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. It does not make sense to me from a consumer perspective. It doesn't make sense to me from what a company would do for a company perspective. It doesn't make sense to me. I can't put myself in their shoes and make it make sense.
To me personally, that just sounds like we don't know how they come up with the ban lists. We don't know it's this specific group of individuals, or it's just this one guy in a corner office somewhere. We don't know. But for me, it sounds like that whoever makes that decision, whomever, just kind of do it whenever they feel like, not, hey, I'm gonna make sure. Hey, you gotta make sure this is on a set date. Let's just I'll do it whenever I get to it, whenever I feel like.
Right. Here's my perspective. This is my own personal perspective. This is based upon information that I've gotten from people that I value what they say, if that makes sense. Not necessarily their opinion, but I value the truth in what they're saying. This is based off of what I've heard kind of through the grapevine. Mm-hmm. So, and I believe some of this is actually public information, but not much. So, the first thing I'll say is the OCG controllers do have a certain amount of leeway and influence over the TCG ban list. I believe it's Konami's official stance that the OCG doesn't have any control over the TCG ban list. I believe that I've heard that there are certain cards that they have said, no, you cannot ban this card. I don't think that is necessarily the case with any card right now. For example, I don't think that they've said, oh, don't ban Mystic Mine or anything like that.
Yeah, or don't ban Dragoon, don't ban this, don't ban that. Yeah.
I don't think that's the case with any current cards in the game. But I've heard in the past there are a couple of cards that they wanted to ban badly in the TCG, and they were not allowed to.
Ooh, I know, great example of that. Firewall Dragon. It did eventually get banned.
The very specific example that I heard, and I don't want to go too much into detail. This is purely speculation. Yes. This is not the God's honest truth that I heard from Mr. Konami himself. This is I would say based off of reliable info, but this is also a certain amount of late night in the cave. We're in the man cave chilling, chatting with our friends here, right? There is a degree of speculation. Summon Sorceress and Firewall were both cards that the OCG said, no, you're not allowed to ban those yet. Those are jump promo. Those are, main character card, things like that. So they were kept legal as long as possible.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's the case with any card we currently have. But that said, it does show that the OCG has a certain amount of influence over the ban list.
They can kind of tug at a string, but that's about it. They don't have like a big,
Right.
overhanging control.
Yes.
But they can tip a domino.
So, with that said, if we can assert that they have a certain amount of control, they could also have a certain amount of control over the timing of the list.
I disagree with that.
You think?
Yeah, I think it's a case of because the OCG side would have a little bit more a little bit more knowledge of upcoming products than that the American side would, and so that's why they would be allowed to say, do not ban this card yet. Just don't do it. Trust us, don't. And then you get stuff like, a structure deck that reprints the card that they were looking to reprint, or the special edition thing because this is a main character's card in the case of Firewall. Something, a product like that, so that way they can push the product, and after the product's done, then you can ban it.
But that impacts the cards on the list, not necessarily the date of.
Bingo. I don't think the OCD has any control of when the ban list releases, because I'm pretty sure if it did, it would probably be very specifically, you will have it on this day, come hail or high water.
That's fair. Now, another thing that we could, deduct is that if the OCG has that much control over what cards are and are not going to be banned, then is it possible that Konami TCG is taking huge steps to attempt to ban a card that OCG does not want banned, and there is a bit of an internal power struggle going on? That's hugely speculative. I do not want anybody to make this their main takeaway, but is that possible that there is a power struggle and Konami TCG really wants to ban a card like, say, Mystic Mine, which is a problem?
I know a great way to describe this how to think of this conversation.
Sure.
It's like those conversations you'd have with your friends at like midnight during a sleepover, where who do you think would win in a fight, Goku or
Ben 10,
or like Ben 10,
which is not even a question, by the way.
Yeah, and then you just have like this very oddly serious conversation for 12-year-olds. For me, it was always who would win in an actual fight, Dragonite or Charizard, and the answer is Dragonite because he has type advantage.
Does he?
Yes.
How so?
Okay, so
Charizard can use dragon moves.
Yes, but he doesn't get stab on them.
Okay, but even getting stab, Dragonite's moves are not necessarily super effective against Charizard.
The thing is that Dragonite resists the fire type stab moves and
the flying type.
No, he doesn't resist the flying type moves, but the most powerful flying type move that Charizard...
Wait, flying is neutral against flying?
Yes, and dragon.
But
the most powerful dragon type, flying type attack that Charizard had access to at the time when we were discussing this was Fly, which is garbage, and Wing Attack,
which is also garbage.
Yes.
So, do you really think that Dragonite wins that fight?
At the time, yes, easily.
Okay, but
this
counterpoint.
Was Generation 4, by the way.
Counterpoint, and I know this is off topic. We'll circle back. We have time. Counterpoint. What if Charizard uses a super effective dragon type move? That's 2 times damage, which outpaces Dragonite's 1 1/4 stab move.
Dragonite also gets Hydro Pump.
It's not a stab move.
Yes, but it's a base 120 stab move.
No, it's not a stab move.
Super effective. It's a base 120 super effective move versus Charizard's at best 85. Coming off of its lower attack stat with Dragon Claw.
All right, you got me. You win. That's fine. I agree that Dragonite would win, but that's just because I think Dragonite's cooler.
However, That's at the time. That has since changed.
All right. The point is, Ben 10 would beat Goku in a fight. All right. So
Because he would just copy his DNA and turn into a Saiyan.
why would he do that? He can turn into Alien X. He can just reset the universe on a whim.
But no. That's more fun, though. To just copy Goku's alien DNA to add to the Omnitrix.
I mean, you're right. You're also right about that.
Also, another option he entirely has is then going Ultimate Saiyan.
Yeah. Ben 10 is just broken, especially against alien opponents.
Because he can just copy them. Now, magical opponents is where he starts having issues. What?
Put a lid on the bottle, dog.
Oh, the lid has gone missing.
Ah!
Yeah, it's fine. Back to what I was saying.
That's an awful brave. It's fine on my couch.
My hand is on the bottle.
Okay.
Anyway, he does have issue against magical opponents because they're not aliens. But it's the whole conversation of who won in a fight between Superman and Zatanna. The answer is Zatanna.
I don't know who Zatanna is.
Oh, she is kind of like John Constantine, but a little more magical.
Gotcha. I don't know who John Constantine is.
Okay, Zatanna is the DC version of Doctor Strange.
Okay, now I'm with you.
So Constantine would be Doctor Strange if he was a detective.
But wait, isn't Doctor Strange played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who also plays Sherlock Holmes?
Yes, that's the funny part about this whole situation.
Okay, so we're going to circle back around to the ban list now.
Yes.
The point is, Konami's not communicating with the player base.
And they need to.
Konami is not giving us a ban list. And I know that this whole conversation reeks of, yeah, me player, Konami bad, we want ban list. And there's so much more depth to it than that.
Listen, I'm not even asking for the ban list. I'm asking for
clear and effective communication for us as consumers.
Even just a tweet of, hey, we hear you about the ban list. We're working on it.
Acknowledgement would be huge.
That's it. If they would just acknowledge that we understand you're waiting on a ban list, we're working on it. That's it.
That would be huge. I really cannot express that enough. If I got a tweet from Konami tomorrow that said, we hear you, we acknowledge that the player base wants a ban list, we understand, we are diligently working to provide you with a ban list and the best product. The ban list will be soon. It's coming.
Yep, that's it. They don't have to give a date or anything. Just a acknowledgement that of the player base's frustration.
Yeah, that would be so big. That would be one of
I'd be happy.
Yeah, that would be one of the most significant things Konami has ever done to directly communicate with its player base, which is crazy that in 15 years of running the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, that's where we're at. An acknowledgement of we hear you would be the biggest direct communication to the actual venting their frustrations player base we've ever had.
To be fair, I think that would also require them to actually be listening.
I think Konami listens. I think they listen very closely.
Oh, do that kind of the I'm not listening with a big ear pointed at them.
I very genuinely believe that Konami listens to their community. I think that they have internal discussions daily about the community. And I think that there's employees at Konami that care a ton about the players, the player base, how the player base feels, what the player base wants. I think that there is genuinely a lot to be said for Konami's actual desire to put out a really good product. I know that it doesn't always seem like that. From the player's perspective, it doesn't feel like that. We honestly, They should bring back special editions. They should bring back promos and products.
Oh my god.
Guaranteed
Promos.
printings of cards to drive down the prices of some of these cards. They should, they should give us more clear and effective communication on when we're getting a ban list. That allows us as consumers to make more informed decisions. I don't want to buy the tins right now. I don't want to buy Power of the Elements right now. I don't want to buy Tactical Masters right now because I don't know what's happening on the ban list. Why would I invest a ton of money in a tier limit deck when tomorrow Curious could get banned?
Or King of the Swamp.
Right. Why would I invest a ton of money into a Sprite deck and buy a bunch of Power of the Elements packs to pull the Sprite cards when tomorrow Totally Awesome could get banned? And I wouldn't fault them for banning those cards, and I wouldn't be necessarily upset if those cards don't get banned. I just want effective communication. That way I can understand what I need to be buying as a consumer.
Yeah, so that way you can also feel like you made an informed decision on your it makes your decision feel more like you actually decided it instead of oh well I just messed up.
Right. Think about it like this. If we have a no sooner than date, I stop buying product. Sure, like 2 weeks before the no sooner than date, because I don't want to go out building a new deck and it get hit. Now, the counterpoint to that is, what if we don't have a no sooner than date? Well, maybe people buy product right up until the day of the ban list. Or I count forward 90 to 100 days from the previous ban list. And then I just say, okay, well, 3 weeks before that, I'm just gonna stop buying product. And now we are 30 days past that mark, and I haven't bought product in 6 weeks.
Yep. I haven't bought. Well, I am going to buy one tin just because I want the tin itself so I can complete the tablet.
Right.
After that, I'm not buying anything more.
At this
too
point,
risky.
I don't buy product for the cards that I want. I buy product because every now and then I just kind of enjoy opening sealed product.
Yeah.
I bought a box of Tactical Masters, but I didn't buy it because of, oh, well, I'm chasing after X cards.
Yeah.
Or, I want to support my local game store. That's why I bought it.
That's like the big reason why we bought it.
Yeah. We each bought a box of Tactical Masters. It's to support our local game store, ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana.
Check them out.
Quick ad plug for ETB Games. ETB is a sponsor of the podcast, and ETB is your one-stop shop for all of your card game needs. If you are looking for sealed or singles for any of the card games that you love, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Digimon, Flesh and Blood, etc., or binders, deck boxes, sleeves, etc. for any of those games, be sure to check out ETB Games. Their link is in the description down below. Continuing on. I buy those products to help our game store. I'm not worried about turning around and trying to build these decks. I mean, sure I could, but if I do that, honestly, I just buy 1 or 2 more boxes, but I'm afraid to.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's coming on the ban list.
Like, the only reason why I even built, well, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why I built Labyrinth is because I know it's not going to get touched on the ban list.
Right. And I guess that works.
It's a safe pick.
Yeah, and I guess that works in the situation of Konami selling product because they know that Labyrinth won't get hit. But I don't know that that's the case with tier limits. The longer that this format goes, the longer that we go without a ban list, the less and less sure I am about tier limits or Sprite getting hit. I was really positive, a month ago.
Yeah, but
when
now,
we could have gotten a list.
Now I'm not so sure.
Right. A month ago, we could have reasonably gotten a list. It would have still been around 100 days since the last one, which is a reasonable amount of time.
Like, not only could we already gotten a list, it also would have been a safe list for Sprite and tier limit because they literally just came out.
Exactly. And then I'm not afraid to buy those. I'm not afraid to buy Power of the Elements and to build those decks for months. But now,
nope, too risky.
I'm not touching them
because now it's risky to build the deck. Real
right.
risky.
I'm not worried about the tier limit or Sprite cards getting hit. I'm worried about the exterior cores.
Yeah, the Toads, the Ronin Totems, the Dupe Frogs, the King of the Swamps.
Right. The King of the Swamp. You keep bringing it up. It's actually a really good hit. So I'm not necessarily complaining just for the sake of complaining. I think that there's really something key here that is worth discussing and talking about, because Konami's decisions as a company allow us to make more informed decisions as consumers of their products. So if they want us to keep consuming their products,
They need to give us something.
some level of communication as a company.
Even just the as we said before, just the
Acknowledgement.
Thank you. Just blanking on that word. Just the acknowledgement of our frustrations
That would be a huge start
would do wonders
for the
them.
community. Yeah.
Yeah, for the community itself. Preferably, they would be like, "Oh, hey, so like we're actually not going to hit these 2 decks, so those are safe."
Right. Preferably by doing that, by releasing a list confirming that they're not gonna
Yeah.
hit them. All right, so let's do some mailbag questions. So, will we ever have a ban list, or is this the forever format?
At this point, it's the forever format
The longest time we've had between ban lists in
Until
a very long time.
until proven otherwise. This is the new eternal format until the end of time.
Asking now because I'll forget. Are there any decks you look forward to playing post Megatins? More accessible prosperity means more room for goofy decks.
Well, I'm probably going to stick with Labyrinth,
Sure.
but it can also run Pot of Prosperity. Just saying.
True.
Because it's a trap deck. I don't care.
I don't know that there's necessarily a deck that I'm going to be building post Megatins because of what's released in the tins.
I'm actually kind of considering Drytron now because the Diviner got the reprint.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely looking to pick up a bunch of cards from the tins, but it's less because of the cards in the tin as far as the archetype. Last year, the tin was all about the archetypes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you had Talents and Zeus, but the tin last year was really super duper built to... you had the entire Virtual World deck, the entire Tri-Brigade deck, and more in those tins.
Yeah.
Whereas this year...
You have the entire Beat Trooper deck in there.
Woo.
Hey, Beat Troopers are cool.
Woo.
They are cool, but they kind of really need like the Quaggar Hercules and a bunch of other peripheral stuff that didn't get reprinted.
Right. I'm more excited out of these tins for... I need one more droplet, although I really need an ultra rare because the ones I have are ultra and I'd like to have matching. And honestly, though, I think the ultra rare looks better. Anyway, I need one more droplet. I would like to pick up some D-shifters because I actually got rid of mine on accident.
Thank you.
No, I didn't get rid of them to you. You got your own.
No, I thought... Yes, I did. You wouldn't come off of yours.
And then the next weekend I came off of them because somebody
Yeah.
offered me ridiculous money for them.
Yes.
What else? So I need shifters. I need one more droplet. I need lightning storms. I need prosperities, things like that. The staples.
Yeah, I also need all of those, but I don't need shifters. I
I also want to grab Link into the Vrains. I'd like to pick up a set of that card.
Oh yeah, it's just a really good card.
And it's really cheap.
Mhm.
Hi guys, question for Caleb.
Okay.
What do you play in your Marincess deck? Do you play pure with hand traps, silent sea nettle, or abyss shark with silent angler?
Okay.
Love the podcast, and you guys get me through my night shifts at work here in the UK. Mystic Mine, not our Lord, or here at work here in the UK. P.S. Mystic Mine is not our Lord and Savior yet.
First off, love to hear it. Secondly, I did try the silent sea nettles, but I personally found that anytime I had them in my hand to utilize, I like having the silent sea nettle either would not get me into Toad, or I'd get into Toad without using it. And at that point, cool, I have an extra Toad negate. Cool, which is great. Don't get me wrong, the extra Toad negate's great. But I'm pretty sure Toad's once per turn anyway.
No, it's off once per turn.
Okay, never mind.
It's soft.
Yeah, okay, it's still once per turn.
I mean, technically, yes.
Yeah, so because I don't have a way to like reshuffle it and
Right.
reset it to get a new negate. So I can Toad negate and then have another one for my next turn. Great. But usually if I'm Toad negating, If that doesn't stop them, I'm probably borked.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term. So right now, right before I switched over to Labyrinth, I was on Pure Marincess with hand traps, but I was running like 15 of them, and like Harpy's, and I think I was running Harpy's Feather Duster or Cosmic Cyclone. I don't remember which one. I was running one copy of one
Cosmic.
of those. It was Cosmic. Thank you.
Yeah, I remember because I helped you with that decision.
Yeah. For the Mystic Mine.
So there's a argument to be made for, I have a one-of spot. Do I play a Duster in the one-of spot, or do I play Cosmic in the one-of spot? I think Cosmic is better in the one-of spot.
Because it beat Cop.
That's not even why. I just think that a quick play spell has a little bit more versatility and utility.
That's fair, because that's entirely fair. Because then you can also, like, if you ended up like in a deck that does not run Mystic Mine, they don't have, you can just set it.
Right.
Pop a quick, like they set some back row pop pass. You can
Or, I mean, realistically, if your opponent tries to trigger a field spell at all,
oh yeah,
or any continuous spell trap.
Oh yeah.
If you're playing against Eldritch, you can hit their Cursed Eldland or their trap monsters. I think that Cosmic is just a little bit more consistently useful as a card, and I would rather have the card that's more consistently useful as a card than to have a
blowout.
A blowout one.
A possible blowout.
Right.
'Cause
I'd rather have a card that has more utility.
Yeah, because some decks are just not going to care about getting Feather Dustered.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Here we go. Are alt formats the best way to preserve the health of the game?
Not preserve the health, but it's definitely ways for people to go back and relive their nostalgia years, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think that alt formats are necessarily the best way to preserve the health of the game, but I do think that they are healthy for the game.
Yes. Most because you can get more players in, because there are people, because you might get the people in, like in GOAT formats, who just don't like the way Yu-Gi-Oh's played now with the constant, I'm just going to set up a board, try and break it, do it, and you can't.
Right. I think that for me, you need to have a healthy advanced format to have a healthy game. Right now, Yu-Gi-Oh! Does not have a healthy advanced format. With cards like Artifact Scythe, Mystic Mine, and more.
The fact that Mystic Mine Burn won a major tournament
is a hard thing to come to terms with.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that said, personally, I think that the best way to preserve the health of the game is to make sure that your actual advanced format is as healthy as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But that said, it kind of is what it is. So,
It be how it be.
yes. Is the current concept of time cards, such as Gaga Cowboy, a healthy and natural mechanic for the game, or do they instead highlight a flaw with the current format's time rules?
Both.
I disagree.
Now, when I say both, it's like a little column A, mostly column B. With the, it's just the natural evolution of a glaring flaw.
Yeah, so it just highlights the flaw.
Yeah.
So it's just column B.
Yeah, but
Like, would you agree with that?
yeah, it's like 99% of a column B. However, it's very much a case of if we have to do it that way, I think it's fine. If these are the time rules, it's just
Yeah, but I don't think that makes it healthy.
it's that's fair. That's fair.
It is a natural evolution, but I don't think that it's a healthy one. And here's the issue with current time rules. The best thing they ever did, by the way, was make it a 45-minute rounds at these YCSs. Holy moly, it's
It
nice.
may not seem like the extra 5 minutes matters, but who does it matter?
Holy crap. The extra 5 minutes is huge. Realistically, it moves your game pace from around 13 and a third minutes per game. 13 minutes, 20 seconds. That's what you're looking at per game under old time rules. Now you're looking at right at 15 minutes per game.
Mm-hmm.
Or like 14 minutes per game with like about a minute for siding.
Yes.
Minute and a half.
Give or take.
And we still run into time issues. I think that the perfect balance, and like I said, I love the extra 5 minutes because some of these combos take a long time. One tier limit combo is like an 8-minute combo these days.
It can be. It really depends on what they hit.
So I think that personally, the best way that I've seen somebody suggest is Jeff Jones suggested this on Twitter. How do we fix the current time rules to make it fair for both players, but make it much faster than it was before? So if you're not familiar, the old time rules were when you went into time, turn player was turn 0, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if me and Caleb were playing, we go into time and it's my turn, I'm turn 0. Caleb's turn would be turn 1, then mine is 2, then Caleb's 3, I'm 4, and Caleb's 5.
This is back when turns would take 30 to 45 seconds.
Yeah, they were much faster, honestly. So Caleb gets the last turn, and whoever has the most life left at the end wins that game, and then you tally your match points from there. Ties were a lot rarer. But as the years went on, the matches started drawing out longer and longer, and it was dragging the events out. So they changed the rules. You go into 40 minutes. When time ends, whoever has more life at the end of the current phase of the current turn wins, and that's it.
Yep. Which gives the current turn player the advantage, because if they're in their main phase, they have their entire main phase to burn.
Correct.
But the
Cards
opponent,
like Red Resonator and things of that sort.
yeah, Red Resonator, just going, oh, cool, Tremendous Firestorm.
Yeah.
Or no, Ukazi. Tremendous Firestorm is garbage in a real game. Ukazi.
Just in general, being able to burn your opponent. But the best way that I've seen to fix the time rules, because I just realized I never actually said it earlier. I was explaining how the old rules worked. The newest, best thing that they could do would be both players get an end phase.
Oh, so like the turn player keeps going to their end phase. The opponent gets a full turn. At the end of that turn,
tally life.
Yeah, because then it gives the opponent to actually respond to you attempting to burn them, possibly even burning you in kind.
So I guess that you could like compare this to the NFL's overtime rules. So the way, I don't know if you probably don't know anything about the way this works, huh?
Touchdown!
Yeah.
No, I got no clue.
Okay, so the way the current NFL rules are situated is when you go into overtime, there's a coin flip. Visiting team gets to call it in the air.
Okay.
Winner of the coin toss gets to choose if they kick the ball away or if they receive the ball. If the team that gets the ball first doesn't score or kicks a field goal, the other team gets a chance to get the ball. But if the team that gets the ball immediately marches down the field and scores a touchdown, the game's over immediately.
Yeah.
But if they don't get that touchdown, then the other team gets their chance at it. And that's kind of what that rule would be. You either OTK me right now on your current turn, or I get a chance at it. And then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's an interesting way to go about it.
Which also does eliminate burn. Like, I'm just going to cowboy you and that's game.
Right.
But now I'm going to cowboy you, but I got a bunch of stuff. Let's you try something. I'm just going to make my own cowboy. Imperm.
Oh.
Like, it creates a more interesting back and forth, because then...
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
Because then you have the decision of, I can attempt to OTK, or I can just go for burn damage, and your opponent also has that exact same thing. I can either OTK or just go for burn. So then there's a lot more back and forth. It's more interesting.
Yes.
Now, it does extend the time of when a game goes into overtime, when time gets called anyway, to just a little bit longer. But it really depends on how long the actual individual turns will take. Right. If you're like elbow deep into game 3, your turn may only last a couple of minutes, and that's full comboing, because you've done full combo probably twice now.
Yes.
So you're running low. So both players would be running a little low on resources. so they're just kind of comboing out what they can.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is the last of the mailbag questions. So, a huge thank you again to all of our sponsors. That is Millennium Threads, Dragon Shield Accessories, TCG Player. There's affiliate links down below. If you're shopping at Millennium Threads, be sure to go ahead and use our discount code to save yourself a few dollars. Top Cut 10. Again, it's all in the description down below. Of course, be sure to check out ETB Games. And if you want your stupid name that you put in read out on the podcast at the beginning of every episode, be sure to check out our Patreon. Also, we are putting in a lot of effort and a lot of work to revamp our setup. Really,
as you can see.
Yes, put a lot into the atmosphere, put a lot into the settings, and just really care about the aesthetic for the listener and for the viewer. And we're looking to ramp up the channel a lot into more than just a podcast. So if you're interested in all of that and you want to see where we go from here and how we grow, be sure to, if you enjoy this content and you enjoy these episodes, just go ahead and subscribe real quick. Share us with a friend if you're so inclined. That would be huge. That would be the best. We would really appreciate it. When all of your friends ride together to locals, just take the aux cord and play us.
Yo, I got this fire hit track. Listen. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Hello, and welcome to the Top Cut. Yeah. So, but honestly, we couldn't do this without the support of all of you, the wonderful viewers of the podcast. So, with all of that said, thank you all so much for listening to today's episode of the podcast, and we will catch you next week.
Take care, everybody.